Hello, everyone. This is Alex de Freitas with Nintendo World Report, and I'm joined by John Rairdin
Howdy, everybody.
and Matt Zawodniak.
That's me.
And we had a Nintendo Direct this morning, gentlemen.
We sure did.
There's we had one very cool announcement to start it off, and then a lot of games I'm very excited to play on PlayStation.
I was going to say all of those games are Rune Factory knockoffs, and every single one of them looks better than Rune Factory. Like, how is Rune Factory so bad at being Rune Factory? That there are so many games that are just it, but better.
As someone who reviewed Rune Factory 5 and gave it a low score, I'm going to abstain from this conversation.
The curse of farming games is that all of the indie knockoffs are now better than the originals that they're knockoffs of.
But even, does Square Enix count as one of those indie knockoffs? Because I think theirs looks better than Rune Factory, too.
I'm actually very excited to try that demo. Anyways, We're not here to talk about farming games or Rune Factory. We're here to talk about Fire Emblem Engage.
Oh, you tricked me.
Terrible title, I think.
Yes, and a horrible font for the subtitle.
What do you have against Helvetica?
Helvetica
I actually
is
don't.
the Xenoblade font.
It's also the Nintendo World Report font. Us and Xenoblade have the same font family.
We're here to talk about Fire Emblem Engage. It is a horrible title, but the game looks quite good. So we're going to do a quick deep dive into the trailer and just kind of go over things that catch our interest. Then afterwards, we are going to talk about what we liked and disliked and what our hopes and fears are for the final release. So without further ado, let's start this thing.
Here we go. So this part implies that it's for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I think that's confirmed, actually.
But genuinely, though, right here, it's getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but this is where this happens to be in the trailer. The artwork around this circle here, they are all protagonists from past Fire Emblem games. So I think we know from having seen the whole trailer that past Fire Emblem characters do appear, and I think it's safe to assume that at least these 12 will, if not these 12 are the ones. And we've got one from each game, starting from the top and going clockwise. We've got Marth from Shadow Dragon, Celica from Shadows of Valencia, Sigurd from Genealogy of the Holy War, Leaf from Thracia 776, Roy from Binding Blade, Lyn from Blazing Blade, Erica from Sacred Stones, Ike from Path of Radiance, Micaiah from Radiant Dawn, Lucina from Awakening, Corrin from Fates, and Byleth from Three Houses.
Of those, how many of those haven't come out in the US?
We are now just at
Sigurd and Leaf. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Oh, and Binding Blade, technically. Yeah. Roy hasn't had
technically, but he's a Smash Brothers character. That's actually his Smash Brothers design specifically. So
it trumps the canon. Is that true of the islands in the middle, too? Are those from older games, or is that...
No.
Okay.
I can see other games in there if I try really hard. But
yeah, it's kind of abstract and...
Yeah, they call the continent Elios, and there are 4 realms with a Holy Land at the center. The Holy Land at the center feels very like Garrick Mach Monastery to me, but that's Foldland, and it's a separate world. And there's these realms are. It seems like they're continents separated by a sea, and I'm not sure if these are realms from different games that have kind of crashed into each other.
Yeah, is this not the plot of the first Fire Emblem Warriors?
I didn't play that one. I'm going to be real.
Okay.
I didn't play a whole lot of it, but not
all right. As apparently the person who played the most Fire Emblem Warriors in this call, which is disturbing. This sure seems like the plot from the first Fire Emblem Warriors.
It definitely feels like the plot of Awakening to me.
It was more like the original Hyrule Warriors, where it was just like, here's all of these characters from random places smashed into a game.
Mm-hmm. But actually, while I'm thinking of it, because we mentioned that Roy is specifically his Smash Brothers design here, Ike and Lucina are also in outfits and wielding weapons that they only use in the mobile game Fire Emblem Heroes, which I assume is so that not every single person on this graph is using a sword.
Well, in fairness, is that not the most successful Fire Emblem game?
I don't know the numbers.
That's probably fair. I mean, it's probably the most successful Fire Emblem game that stars Ike.
Every other Fire Emblem game is just a retroactive spin-off of the mobile game.
It's the most profitable game that the majority of these characters have been in.
Yes.
Yeah, Leaf has not been in a game as profitable as Fire Emblem Heroes.
This is your chance.
So Sigurd's also wielding a lance. I believe he wields a sword in his original game. Lucina's wielding a bow, which, I mean, she also wields a sword. Like, most of these characters wield swords.
I think all of them do.
Ike is wearing his dad's clothes and wielding his dad's axe. Yeah, and like, it's also, we should note that like some of these games or some of these representatives of games also had multiple lords in their games, but only one of them is shown. For instance, Lyn.
We've also got a perfectly even split of male and female.
Yes. So Lyn comes from a game with 3 lords, including Ellawood and Hector. Ellawood is Roy's dad, but only Lyn is shown from that game. So that is probably, I think you're right, Matt. This is probably just to have an even split between male and female characters.
I think they made the right choices to get as varied a roster they could have while still grabbing one character from each game.
Especially if we can mate them to create super babies.
Yeah, hopefully we could get Fire Emblem Engaged and then Fire Emblem Married. That's my goal.
Yeah, it's, Fire Emblem lack of commitment. Fire Emblem, I'm just not ready.
Yeah, so 4 realms, that's the introduction to Ruby.
1,000 years ago.
And that's the Fell Dragon. There was also a Fell Dragon Awakening.
Yeah, so it's interesting, like, obviously a lot of Fire Emblem games have dragons as the antagonist, but
right.
If I'm remembering correctly, I believe that in Awakening, Grima is the only one that is specifically the Fell Dragon.
Right, and also has like a purple and black and red color scheme.
Yeah.
So this is a very similar looking dragon to that one.
I now that I think of it, maybe Lopter might have also been Lopter from Genealogy of the Holy War. He might have been a Fell Dragon, but that one never came to the West, so I've never been able to play it.
So it says here, we called upon heroes from other worlds to aid us. And in other Fire Emblem games, there's typically like, there were some legendary heroes that fought off the dragon or some, evil force that then is coming back from breaking its seal. Like, that's a common trope. In this game, it is heroes from other worlds. These are heroes from other Fire Emblem games.
Yeah, this is so also right in this line, they specifically refer to them as emblems, which every game in the series has something called the Fire Emblem, and it's usually something that has a decent amount of plot importance.
Yes, but it is a separate MacGuffin in each one.
Yes.
Like, they're not the same.
I think it's safe to assume that these characters from past games aren't just going to be cheap cameos. They're going to have a substantial role in the story.
Yeah, and we'll see Marth in a lot of cutscenes today. So we're just gonna keep rolling.
Heroes known as emblems. With them.
Yeah, I see. And Lucina's actually wearing her mask and the armor from Fire Emblem Heroes, I believe.
Yeah. I think that's her legendary version, while Ike's is his brave version. Micaiah's got her little bird, Yune,
yeah.
Although, according to Fire Emblem Heroes, it's Yoon.
In the end, we were victorious in defeating and imprisoning the Fell Dragon. In the years since...
Quick, name all of those characters.
For a second, I thought this was Robin, but it's just, these are just random.
He kind of looks like Camus a little bit.
Randall, Franklin.
Yeah, so from left
Joseph.
to right, we've got Ezekiel, Carmen, Jackson,
Malachi. It's a
Frida.
diverse bunch.
Yeah.
The world has been safe, but now I sense a resurrection.
This guy.
The binding weakens.
Something about his silhouette makes me. It sets off something. I don't know.
I think
what.
that's Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
but it's evil Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like the silhouette of this ornamentation also reminds me a lot of Grima.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I feel like
Grima and Valadar for sure.
Grima is, especially with the term Fell Dragon.
He actually reminds me a lot of like some of the designs that you see in the original Fire Emblem Heroes characters, like the ones that are not from a previous legacy game.
Yeah. Yeah, he also doesn't look like an old dark wizard. He looks kind of young. So at the very least,
he's like the youngest and hottest of all the dark wizards.
Yeah. I didn't want to phrase it that way, but yes, that's exactly what I was going for.
It's okay, because I'm sure like deep down he's probably like 1,000-year-old dragon spirit. So it's fine.
We get some very detailed eye shots.
Yeah, do we talk about the elephant in the room here?
Yeah, I guess so. Let's back it up here.
Matt, that's a dragon, not an elephant.
So the hair.
The
Toothpaste Kun.
Toothpaste Kun or Pepsi Chan.
So nobody goes with Joy-Cons?
Joy-Con hair.
He's obviously he's a Nintendo Switch.
Look, I don't want to talk too much about illicit dealings, but the Fire Emblem fandom has been familiar with this design for a couple months.
Oh
now.
Yeah, this has been floating.
So the name toothpaste kind of settled because he's just Colgate toothpaste. There's a lot going on here. We know that the character artist for this game is Mika Picasso. She is better known in the West for both her work in Fate Grand Order, where she designed a character that looks suspiciously like this color scheme. And she is also the character artist for the HoloLive VTuber Hakos Bales. I am of the opinion that Mika Picasso is a very talented artist who does a lot of great work with bold and bright colors. And the default Fire Emblem shaders being used here do not do her work any favors, I think.
I'd be curious to see this. I mean, I've seen like the key art for this too. I'm not sure I've seen this in a style where I did think it looked good, but it sure stands out.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the memes or just like getting used to it over the couple of months that we've seen it, but I'm not sure if it's grown on me is the right term, but I've gotten used to it to where I'm like, I'm no longer disgusted.
When the leaks came out a few months ago, it was the female protagonist of the leaked pictures. I remember at the time I tweeted, the new Fire Emblem protagonist looks disgusting, and I will defend her inclusion in Smash Brothers to my dying days.
On the bright side, I'm sure they'll look even better at the game's native 540p resolution with no anti-aliasing at 12 frames per second.
Yeah, and it's weird because this is the only character that looks like this. The rest look kind of normal.
So, like, I'm waiting for like Marth will come hopping out of a portal or whatever and be like, "Behold, it is I, the holy shit, what is that?"
I hope people like remark on his hair. Like,
yeah,
just somebody mention something.
Yeah,
we can't like just go about our lives thinking that this is normal.
I do think the hair looks better on the female character, where she's got the long hair that's more filled out, but it's definitely a choice on both of them.
Oh, I don't know. I think the long hair makes it seem like there's just so much more of it, so you have to look at it, you know?
That's what works for me. You commit to it. You go
That's fair. So here we see, I'm guessing, a divine dragon. That's usually what the white dragons are referred to. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be Tiki or some other.
I believe. Well, we're about to see
dragon.
We're about to see some more characters that are more relevant for.
I like that they're dressed to match their hair.
It's important.
Yeah.
Now, see, these people look relatively normal.
Right,
they look great.
Fine.
Then we're gonna summon Marth. Hero shot. There he is.
Yep. Marth,
he looks great.
The protagonist that has far outlived his quality by sheer virtue of being the first.
Yep.
God, that logo.
That's all you have to be sometimes.
Okay, so these characters right here.
Okay. We're into this appears to be real-time graphics now, by the way, just throwing that out there.
Which is relatively impressive.
It looks better than Three Houses, I think.
Yes.
Granted, the super compressed YouTube video, but
I think if you're just paying attention to the face, it looks great. If you pay attention to like the accessories,
there's some texture, but even just the edges, like the resolution and like the edge treatment, like there might even be some anti-aliasing. Once again, hard to tell from compressed YouTube videos, but it looks a little bit cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
So these two characters that we're meeting in this scene here. The Japanese Fire Emblem Twitter account was talking about them, and everything that I read on that account has to be filtered through Google Translate, so it's only so accurate, but they appear to be called Dragon Guardians according to Google Translate. They have been protecting the main character for generations.
They look like they're 12, so
So they're probably
I assume
dragons.
not them specifically.
Yeah.
But also maybe they are literal dragons.
Yeah.
But the read that I'm getting is that they're not dragon descriptor guardians. They are dragon. They're guarding the dragon.
Right.
Because I think the dialogue in the trailer implies the main character is the dragon.
Yes, and there's going to be some text that kind of confirms that.
Yeah.
Is the main character two dragons, and that's why they have two different colors of hair, and they're constantly fighting? Is the hair a morality system?
Oh my god! Inside everybody, there are two dragons.
If you do like
one
too many
tells truths, the other tells lies.
If you do too many bad actions, your hair turns completely red, and like all good actions turns it completely blue.
That's like exactly what Mass Effect did.
Yeah, only you couldn't see it on your hair, unfortunately.
Just on your face.
Yeah, this is the next logical step.
So I guess we're doing another Amnesiac. You've been asleep for 1,000 years story, which
I don't get Amnesiac from him. I just get he's been away for a while.
Okay.
I think he's going to have his memories. I think he's just not going to be familiar with what's happened while he's been gone.
It took me until just now to realize that their eyes are two different colors too.
Yeah, they don't. Damn it. They're different from their hair.
Oh yeah, they don't match. And also there's like that one, like I guess, blade of hair on each side that is completely different.
In retrospect, I'm now upset that his outfit is completely consistent. Okay, like it doesn't flip-flop.
If we're talking about the colors, I need to show you the character that this same artist designed for the mobile game Fate Grand Order.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense,
I noticed
right?
A trend.
Yeah, makes a lot
that
of
one's
sense.
Honestly better.
A little bit.
Like that, yeah, that one looks
It looks more balanced for sure.
Well, and I don't have a lot of experience with that series, but the little bit I do know, she doesn't look that far out of the art style. Whereas, like, this kid is from a different game.
A little bit.
That's how long I've been asleep.
We got what looked to be Risen. I think they're called Corrupted in this game, but very
generic,
very
bad
reminiscent.
Guys.
Yeah, generic, like evil bad guys. I'm not sure if they're being controlled by something or if they're.
I believe
monsters?
They're Cylons.
Wrong series. And this part, this is the stuff that got me hyped up.
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of gameplay to look at in just these couple seconds.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing that I'm seeing is physical attack. Mm-hmm. So I assume that that's just a quality of life UI change for the existing system of, magic damage and physical damage.
Right. Because those affect different stats on the enemy end. So it makes sense to differentiate those.
I'm guessing that those those 3 boxes down in the bottom right there are skills.
Yeah, that looks to be that. And then on the bottom left here, we've got Dragon Child, which seems to be the class. So I think we can confirm that this is your main character, whose name is Alir.
It's
some sort of
likely
dragon.
Going to be Actually, we know from the leaks you can name this character. So
okay.
That's just the default name that they're going to have in Smash Brothers.
So it's kind of a self-insert, but like he did speak, so I appreciate that.
Yes,
because Byleth was a horrible character.
Yeah, Robin was a lot better. Robin had dialogue and a character arc. Corrin also had those things, but was badly written. And this is a snap back to that style, which I prefer.
And it looks like we have only 4 item slots. I'm seeing a weapon and what looks to be a vulnerary, and then 2 empty item slots. Your level 4, your move is 4, which I believe that was like the very base class in 3 houses had 4 move, but typically you have 5 move at the beginning. So I'm not sure if that's just for now, like what it's going to be if you get more move later, or if the maps are going to be designed smaller. I know in like this game takes a lot of inspiration or ideas from Heroes, the mobile game, and those are obviously very, very small maps. So I wonder what the map design is going to look like. But
we do have a map right there.
We do have a map right here. We have like a map in the bottom right hand corner, which is just the entire thing.
Yeah, so those yellow squares there, those line up with the house that we see. I assume that visiting to like get lore or items is back.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that was in Three Houses or any of the 3DS games.
It wasn't in
Awakening.
Awakening.
To think if was maybe it wasn't. So I'm glad to see them back.
Yeah, I always liked that. You can get like just random NPCs giving you like just info about the area you're in sometimes, and then they would give you a nice item.
And sometimes those can be destroyed by enemy bandits, so it kind of creates a mini objective within the grander objective of the map to try and get those. So I am very happy with their inclusion. We also have a bunch of other like icons for weapon types. I think the red, green, and black.
Standard.
Yeah, those are all from Heroes.
Fists are back from Three Houses.
Yep, we got gauntlets.
I like that.
Yeah, those are nice. And yeah, I think a lot of this UI looks better to me than what we had in Three Houses. It's very legible.
I would say this looks a lot more like the handheld Fire Emblems did, but with a better graphical fidelity.
It's very clean. Yeah.
Because Three Houses, a lot of the maps were very busy and cluttered.
Right.
This like if you told me this was a Link's Awakening style remake of a GBA game, I could see it.
Yeah. Agreed.
So here's something important.
Combat forecast.
Like the weapon triangle's back.
Yes. I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, I didn't mind the experiment in Three Houses of trying to go without it, but I don't think it worked out very well. I think I like kind of these built-in strengths and weaknesses to weapon types that force you to think about more things. Yeah,
and we see the 3D art. We have on the top here, we see ground. I'm guessing it's just the terrain that they're on.
Presumably, you could have been on that fort there to get a bonus.
Right.
I assume that's what it is. Oh god, the sword is called Liberation.
Then here, go into the combat animation.
Looks pretty good, I think.
Looks really good.
Yep, looks like Fire Emblem.
This guy's name is Vander.
Yeah, that's probably going to be your early game pre-promote.
Yep. Well, he has a Paladin. We can see it right there. He's got a lot of health, a lot of damage. Yeah, he looks like a Jagan archetype where he's going to be real strong at the start and not so useful as the game goes on.
Notably, he has an axe, and most of the time, paladins are lance-wielding, sometimes sword-wielding characters. So, and his speed stat is in the red. I don't know why that is.
That, well, I assume it's some kind of effect on his stat right now.
Like a debuff or something.
Yeah, because he's not targeting the enemy next to him yet, so it wouldn't be a comparison. So.
I'm losing it with this little menu thing that says attack, combat a foe. Like, yes, I think I understood that.
Make it clear.
Make it very clear.
What does weight mean?
Yeah. Damage.
An archer named Etienne. Oh yeah, damage. Joe's gonna be real happy about that.
Yeah, it's got DMG.
We paused on a good waifu, Chloe.
Yeah, miss. Yeah, we got a Pegasus Knight, Slim Lance. Yeah, I'm really liking the icons and just the clean UI for this entire thing. Got a critical. Okay, and so this part I'm going to need your help with, Matt, because I know you play a lot more Heroes than I have.
It's been a while.
Do you recognize these skills here?
Yeah, so I don't think these are specific skills from Heroes. But Lodestar, I know, is kind of a word that has been used to describe Marth in the past. Yes. So my read is that these are unique skills. Well, not all of them are going to be unique. I imagine a bunch of people have Perceptive, but probably the emblem characters are going to have fixed skills, and these happen to be Marth's. Probably Lodestar Rush is a unique skill to Marth, and the others anyone can get those, and he just happens to have those three. It looks to me like we're looking at an early game battle, which makes me think that the skills are going to be set in stone for the Emblem characters.
Right. It seems like this gameplay mechanic is working a bit like pair up, where you'll equip an emblem ring, you'll get that legacy character, I guess, as almost like a stand from JoJo, and then they will buff certain stats. So on the left side here, you
they
see
are
that
literally
you're
stands.
yeah, so you get strength +2, dex +2, speed +2, and then I'm also presumably all those skills will also be applied to you, your character.
Right.
Yeah, that's a stand.
Yeah, essentially. And I'm not sure, like, does Marth attack separately, or is he just joining in with your attack?
That looks like one attack.
Yeah, it looked like they attacked at the same time.
So we got Sigurd from Genealogy of the Holy War. I guess now's as good a time to talk about the leak as any for Sigurd, where the same leak that has proven to be 100% correct for this game so far also says that Sigurd's game is getting a remake in the style of Shadows of Valencia.
Yep. Okay, so this is essentially your Garrick Bach Monastery, where you can run around a hub.
Yeah, this is where the graphics really start to weigh down on the game for me. This looks like the most generic JRPG I've ever seen in my life.
What I guess what I'll say in favor of it is that the simplicity of it seems to hold up a bit better.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, especially for a Switch game. It's just the artistic decisions here are like, I've seen this before.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's very generic, very flat, very cartoony. But at the same time, I feel like I could look at it for a lot longer than I was able to look at that ugly ass monastery in Three Houses.
So we got some customization.
Yep.
So you've been able to like add accessories, I believe, in Fates, and there was also different outfits you could wear in Three Houses, especially if you had the DLC.
Yeah, and these look totally cosmetic because there's
no stats on screen.
Yeah, and it's an anime game because I see One Piece there. I can only imagine that that's a pirate outfit.
Right, naturally a cosplay. It does look like there's also like headgear or something. I assume that none looks like glasses or something.
Yeah, I'm guessing you have what is just your outfit, and then it says right here, select outfit, and then accessory to wear. So
yeah.
It could just be like a nice hat or some glasses.
Mm-hmm. Which I like cosmetic options. This is cool. I'm on board with this.
Mm-hmm. I do wonder because like I'm not sure if every character can get an emblem ring that is specifically tied to them. Like if that's the case, because we've only ever seen in this trailer one emblem ring tied to one character. I guess if we do go back,
it's the kind of thing where we kind of just don't have enough data points.
Yeah, it seems like you could select Sigurd instead.
The weird thing that I'm seeing on this screen is that where it says emblem rings, it looked like that part could cycle through multiple pages.
Yeah.
And off the top of my head, I don't know what that would be cycling through.
I guess, would there be more than a dozen characters?
It looks like there are currently 3 pages to choose from.
Yeah.
With only
two.
Maybe you can bond with other jewelry.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's just a completely different category aside from emblem rings.
That was my first thought, but like I don't know what else it would be on this.
This feels like a menu very specific for bonding emblem rings.
That's true. That's true.
But that only makes me more confused as to what else would even be there.
The next page is all of your emblem crystals, and you can use those to randomly get different characters from the Fire Emblem universe. But most of the time, you'll just get like a generic sword guy.
Yeah, one that's completely useless until you get a quest like 70 hours in. I said 30 at first.
Yeah,
this is a reference to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for the uninitiated. Anyways.
On the bright side, you can romance all of them.
I guess what I'm trying to say is if you have so much customization and input into these characters, like you might have had in Three Houses, how much are they de-emphasizing permadeath?
The franchise has been de-emphasizing permadeath for a long time.
Yeah.
My stance on that is that I prefer permadeath specifically because I don't want throwing units at a boss until you just beat it by attrition to be a viable strategy. But I also don't necessarily think that permadeath as a long-term punishment is something that makes sense for Fire Emblem anymore.
That's fair. If you're speaking about the modern games,
yeah.
The more they go in this direction where like you're investing in characters and socializing with them and getting engaged to them, the less it makes sense to have permadeath.
I feel like there's probably a middle ground they could go for where you just make it more inconvenient for your characters to die without completely taking them out of the game.
Yeah, like even if like they wouldn't be allowed to go on the next mission.
Essentially do it like Star Fox 64.
Yep.
Or I mean, like I know to invoke the dead game franchise that's way better than Fire Emblem, in Shining Force when your characters die, you have to like pay legitimate money to bring them back, and the more characters die, the more expensive it gets.
Yeah, my belief is that I think there should be some consequence for your characters.
Right, you can punish without being absolute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do to some extent miss the old style of like, you know, you can't do an Iron Man with a modern Fire Emblem game, but I also think it's only a matter of time till we start seeing indie Fire Emblem likes pop up. So,
they've already started showing up. Yeah, that's Alfred.
Seeing me never fails to brighten his day. So this I can't tell if this is a cut scene in the story or if this is like a flashy thing that happens during battle.
Could be both.
It could be.
Do they usually cut to pre-rendered stuff during battles?
No, never actually.
Okay.
And if that's something that happens in gameplay, it makes me think of like in Xenoblade 3 when you do the big chain attacks. It has like this really long animation that's very cinematic.
Because it honestly, like it'd probably be easier to just use the in-game graphics rather than having to load in a separate pre-rendered cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we're gonna see like something akin to this soon, but for a different move. So I don't know. Maybe we'll play like every single time you do it. But this is, I guess, a fused version of both Alir and Marth together.
Oh, I totally missed this. What the fuck?
Yeah, wielding the Mercurius, which is like a legendary sword from Fire Emblem.
Yeah, he's got. This is like a whole thing. This is an
butterfly
Ouroboros form.
Yeah, I guess it is. There's a lot of Xenoblade in this game.
Okay, so actually, this makes me think even more than that specific. Well, no, it can't be because we see Sigurd on this dude.
Yeah. This is Alfred and Sigurd.
It would be absolutely wild if all 12 emblems could go with any character in your army and they have unique combined
right
forms.
Because then they would have to have a separate animation for each and every one of them. But earlier in the menu, it seems like you could just select from either of those. So I'm not sure what's going on. But it's worth noting that you move 2 spaces.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't think mainline Fire Emblem has had attacks that move you like that, do they?
Not specifically. That's like reposition, but that's usually you manipulating your other units on your team.
Yeah, never like as an attack though.
Right. Not. I guess there's lunge from Fates.
That's true. But I don't like Fates, so I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, so it doesn't count. And so here's another animation. This is like for a warp attack, warp Ragnarok, which that could be very busted.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about that. It's just Celica's neat. I like her.
Celica is very neat. Warping across the map whenever you want is less neat. So I hope there's a way. Look at all those skills in the bottom right. Dear Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, this one seems a bit later in the game for sure.
Yeah. I don't mind there being a whole lot of skills, and I appreciate that.
Oh, wait.
The UI allows you to see it on a glance. Go ahead.
I think we're seeing Celine and Celica's skills.
Yeah, what I imagine is that the first row is probably Celine, and then the bottom row is Celica.
Okay, yeah. For a second, I was like, "Wow, Celine has a lot of skills."
Yeah,
and
her class is noble / mystical.
She's also got a speed debuff. What's up with speed in this trailer?
I don't know. Maybe equipping Celica is a debuff to your speed, but increase to your attack. I'm
probably just overthinking that. It's just weird.
Yeah, because physical attack and resistance are both blue, like they're being buffed.
Right, and then speed looks like it's being debuffed.
Oh, we've got more item slots here too.
Mm-hmm. A lot more. So I'm guessing that's maybe something you upgrade throughout, whether it's promoting or just like something you can get in the hub.
Yeah, maybe. Unless Celica has her own inventory for some reason.
That'd be weird. Why would a ghost have inventory?
That's her stand ability. I do like these animations. They look good.
They look great.
Okay, so that right there, that was interesting. We see a character that looks villainous putting on a ring. So we might see. I wonder if it'll be the same 12 emblems that can sometimes be controlled by villains, or if we're also going to be seeing villains come back from these games.
Right.
I think I would much rather see the latter.
So like maybe Ashnard could come back from Path of Radiance or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I do like that idea.
To gather all of the rings and bring peace back to Elyos.
And there's just some cool shots.
Was that dragon also blue and red?
The dragon? The dragon's like purple and black.
Go back to
purple
the dragon.
is blue and red though.
But look at the highlighted areas.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. Well, you make some good points.
This really is just Awakening.
Yeah, then I have had a lot of Awakening flashbacks watching the story bits of this trailer. That's the key art.
This is also the first time we see the female version of the protagonist.
Yeah, I guess we hadn't seen. It's weird considering like that's my introduction to the protagonist.
Yeah, it's the one that leaked.
The female character.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good looking key art. I do want to scroll back here since I was thinking about it. Since you mentioned earlier, like how much do the protagonists from the older games are going to have an impact on the story here? Like, will we be able to talk to them and interact with them? Here, you'll see Marth in the hub.
That's true.
Yeah. It feels very Tokyo Mirage Sessions in a way.
Yeah.
You know what else we see on this screen?
Mm-hmm.
If you take a look at the mini map, fishing is back.
It should be in every JRPG, so I'm happy with that. I did not like Three Houses fishing, so hopefully they fixed it.
I will not pretend to feel the same way about fishing, but I know a lot of people care about it a lot. Oh, also up on the top, Somniel map. I guess we can assume that this specific home base is called Somniel.
Yeah, so the con is called Elyos. The hub's probably called Somniel.
Mm-hmm. I think that's about it.
That's about it. Coming January 20th next year. I know there's a special edition.
So there, the leaks also had a developer attached to this that has not so far been mentioned here, which does not necessarily mean that it is not going to be the case, because we didn't know Koei Tecmo was involved in Three Houses until fairly close to its release. But I believe that the leaks named Gust, which is a subsidiary of Koei Tecmo that works on Atelier.
Yeah, and I think the art style seems to line up.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this and I see Atelier. Mm-hmm. So Atelier is one of those 4 JRPG franchises that I mentioned that have the same style.
Yeah, I kind of want to play one of those. I've heard good things, but I can't, act like I know much about them other than
I haven't either.
Just the art style. So just a quick wrap up of what our hopes are, what our fears are for this game, what you liked, what you disliked from the trailer. John, we'll start with you.
I like the more readable art style.
Same.
And I don't know. We haven't seen much of the story. I'd like to see slightly less focus on the like. There's a hub area, which is fine. So far, we haven't seen much as far as like you need to plan out your class schedule or any of that crap.
Yeah, I hated that in Three Houses.
If we can pull that back, then I'm excited for this. I think while I like what I think is the goal of them changing the art style, which is to make it very readable and clean, I do think the end result is somewhat ugly. But I don't know if I think it's uglier or better looking than the last one.
I think it's a consequence of hiring an artist who is known for these very stylistic and overt images and forcing her to work within the limitations of a fairly standard video game 3D art.
But even like the world itself, like not just the character art, but like the environments too are very, very plain. And I
would describe them as clean from what I saw.
That's a very
and
generous, yeah. That's a kind way to describe them.
Okay.
I have to wonder if the audience that is continuously losing their shit over Mario Kart 8 having a different art style in the DLC is going to stand for this slightly flatter looking Fire Emblem, but we'll see.
If they have any complaints, I'll show them screenshots of Three Houses maps and combat, and they can get back to me.
It doesn't matter. I show them screenshots of Mario Kart 8 and go, look at how horrible this cliff looks with a low resolution texture on it versus the cliff in this one that has actual geometry. I'm like, no, texture was realistic. Okay.
I do think that the art in this is a step up from Three Houses, at least. Which is unfortunate because Three Houses was another example of an artist that was kind of pigeonholed into in Three Houses case, she was pigeonholed into doing a copy of another franchise that she worked on instead of some of her more creative work. So, but I like where this is going. So, and as for like the game as a whole, I don't think we've seen enough for me to be super confident. I think this was really more of a teaser trailer for me. I mean, it's literally not a teaser trailer, but that's kind of how I feel for having seen so little gameplay in it. And what I've seen so far is good. It feels like this game is looking back at a lot of previous Fire Emblem games, figuring out what worked, figuring out what didn't work, and making the best version of all of them. And if they pull that off, then I'm going to be quite happy with it. Especially because Micaiah is in it. Micaiah is my favorite character in the franchise.
Weird pick. I'm gonna have to beef with you later on that one.
You usually do.
I'm pretty excited with what I saw so far. I kind of have an appreciation for Heroes, despite not ever playing it because it's a gacha game with gameplay that I doesn't really jive with what I expect or want from Fire Emblem. But I like the idea of a game like this, and this was supposedly planned to be a anniversary game, but it got delayed because of COVID. That's what I'm hearing, at least. I'm not sure if that is 100% true, but I like the idea of having a game that kind of celebrates the 30-year legacy of Fire Emblem. On the other hand, like the summoning aspect makes me worried for possible gacha mechanics.
I have seen nothing that makes me believe there is gacha in this.
I'm glad that I managed to scare you, though. Like, I'm glad that left an impression.
And yeah, that's probably an overreaction just based off of like, oh, this looks a little bit like Heroes, and I'm seeing the summoning, and like you're right, there is nothing that looks like, hey, you're gonna go to this place in the hub to try and summon more and more units.
It would also be very bold of Nintendo to publish a second game with a universally disliked feature from
I mean,
Xenoblade
it sold
2.
really well the last time.
And Heroes makes money.
Yeah. I'd say it's their one feature that seems to be universally successful. So,
but yeah, I'm enjoying what I've seen. I really like the way that the maps look. I like the way that the little 3D models look. I think everything's very legible. I love the UI. Some of the map design elements, like the houses that you can visit, lead me to believe that maybe they're going to put a little bit more effort than they did in Three Houses. Because Three Houses, I love that game, but I don't think the map design is very good. And I love the return of the weapon triangle and all that classic Fire Emblem stuff. So hopefully they stick the landing. We'll see.
I'm excited for Alear to be in the next Smash Brothers.
Yes. Please add another Fire Emblem anime swordsman to the next Smash Brothers.
Dude, the alternate costumes are going to be so many different hair colors. So many different
Hopefully they're all like references to other Joy-Con pairs.
Yeah, well, what they should do is their hair color should dynamically change in game based on what Joy-Cons you're using.
Oh my god.
That'd be so satisfying because I could just give them all just plain gray hair and be like, ah, yes, the universe is at peace.
Well, I think that is all from us for Fire Emblem Engage. If you are hankering for more Fire Emblem content over at twitch.tv/Nintendo World Report, we are playing a whole lot of Fire Emblem. So we're streaming that. I'm streaming those on Mondays. Our colleague Joe is streaming that on Thursdays. Matt, you stream them when you can.
Yep.
And obviously for more Nintendo news, more Nintendo Direct stuff, keep your eyes on Nintendo World Report TV.
This video is made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.